Welcome to Aman Jaiswal's YouTube channel. Today I will be telling you how to use a flash bounce to get a good picture. Flash bounce photography is done using an external flash. This helps you to have the right amount of light on the subject to make it look sharp and bright. The right amount of light on the subject can improve the look and feel. It can do away with dark and ugly shadows and yet get you the three-dimensional effect you want to get on the subject. A flash or a speed light, as it is often referred to, has a rotatable head. This can be turned towards the ceiling or the wall. When the camera triggers the flash, the light bounces off the ceiling or the wall depending where the flash is facing. The light bouncing off these surfaces are diffused and softer than the light we would have otherwise got. If the light is directly pointing at the subject, the lighting would have been much harsher. Flash bounce is usually used indoors. Here we have walls and ceilings that we use the flash to bounce from. Many times indoors we do not have space to move from the subject, and here a direct flash can be very harsh and can create dark shadows. I will give you some tips that how flash bounce and some accessories with a hot shoe mounted flash that would be helpful in taking indoor photography. A shoe mounted flash can be rotated in different directions. For example, up 90 degrees, left 90 degrees, right 90 degrees and down 5 to 7 degrees. To get the best result of the flash bounce, we will use the ability of the flash to turn in these best directions to get the right bounce of the flash. The actual angle the flash can be adjusted will depend on the flash you use. However, I have got good results from my Simpex flash. Each angle of the flash head will light up the subject in a different way. To understand how to get the right angle, we have to practice how to get the right angle of the flash. Let's understand the basics. If you are taking the photograph from one position, changing the angle of the flash will give you different amount of light on the subject, and this can change the end result of the photograph. Bouncing flashlight from ceiling or the walls helps us reducing the glare on the subject. If you are taking photographs of people, this can reduce glare from the faces, hairs or clothes. Here is the first tip to use while doing flash bounce photography. This tip will tell you how the direction of the flash bounce can change the way shadows appear. There are two ways we can bounce the flash, from the ceiling or from the wall. To bounce the flash from the ceiling, we have to have the flash facing upwards. We can have many angles at which the flash can move upwards, and depending on the requirement, we will use different angles. Today for our discussion, we will point the flash up 90 degrees. To bounce the flash from the wall, we turn the flash left or right to bounce it from the wall. Here again, we have many angles so that the flash can move towards the wall. But again, we will talk about the flash facing the wall at a 90-degree angle. The main difference using these two ways to bounce the flash is how the shadow of the object appears. In case of ceiling bounce, the light on the subject comes from the top. Here the shadow will be below the subject, and this tends to make the subject look flat. When we make a flash bounce from the wall, the shadow on the subject appears on the side. This makes the subject look three-dimensional. The second importance to take care in a flash bounce photography is the color of the surface we bounce the light from makes a difference to the final photograph. If the surface from which the flashlight is bouncing is colored, then there will be a color tint of the same color from which the light has been bounced on the subject. This can be both a bad thing or a good thing depending on how you are taking the photograph. If you want a correct representation of the subject, then the color of the wall should be white. But if we want to create an interesting effect on a photograph, then we can use a colored wall to bounce the flash. The third thing to keep in mind is how far a wall or a ceiling should be to get the best result from a flash bounce photography. For any flash to give a good result, the flash has to bounce from the surface, the ceiling or the wall, fall on the subject and then reach the camera before the shutter closes. So if the ceiling or the wall is very far, it will become harder for the light to bounce from the surface, so the photograph will tend to be underexposed. Usually a distance from 4 to 8 feet is optimal. Anything more than that will tend to give us an underexposed photograph. The fourth thing is, if you do not have a wall or a ceiling to bounce the light off, or if we want to further soften the light on the subject, we can use a flash diffuser. A flash diffuser is directly attached to the hot shoe mounted flash. It is used to scatter light. This allows you to soften more the flash bounce on the subject. A flash diffuser is usually used to further reduce the shadows on the subject. An ideal time to use the flash diffuser when the flash is too close to the bounce surface and despite bouncing the light on the subject will be too much, therefore causing too strong shadows. Here the use of a diffuser helps in further softening the amount of light on the subject. This therefore reduces the glare and the shadows on the subject. It makes the subject look more natural. The fifth thing you can do, most flashes with a rotatable head comes with an inbuilt bounce card and flash diffuser. Both of these can be pulled out of the flash as and when required and pushed back into the flash when finished using. Many times when doing portrait photography or taking photographs of people, we use the flash pointing towards the ceiling. This is used to avoid the harsh glare and getting a red eye of the subject. However, when you are pointing the flash to the ceiling, it can affect the amount of light on the subject's face and eyes. Here an inbuilt bounce card allows us to bounce the light on the subject's face. This can make the subject look vibrant, especially if we are taking close-up, facial expressions or bust photographs. Please remember, this is useful for a straight up facing flash bounce and not so effective if you use a wall mount. So now I have given you 5 tips to how to use flash bounce photography. All of these will require you to practice and understand your flash and your camera. If you like my video, please like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon so that when I upload new videos, you can get the notification. Do not forget to comment.